Along with this, sometimes leaders think that their job is to make all of the right decisions, right? Okay, so if I'm the high-level strategist, that means I have to pick the correct strategy. And that is partially right. But the truth is, one of the things that screws up most organizations and teams is paralysis analysis, right? You have so much information and you're trying to get so much coming in and you're afraid to make the wrong decision. So you wind up analyzing data and trying to make the right decision for fear that you would lead your team down a bad path. And of course, this is an old cliche, but no decision is still a decision. So realize instead, your job as the leader is not simply to make the right decision. It is to move. It is to make the best decision you can with the 80-20 of data. And sometimes that means that you need to build room for making a wrong decision and realize that that is something that a good leader may do from time to time. In fact, is likely to do from time to time. Because the alternative, getting 100% of the decisions correct, means analyzing way too much stuff, taking in far too much data, and going too slow. Another thing that people look for in leaders, right, is not simply, okay, do they have a track record of being correct, but it's, can I trust their decisiveness, right? Do they have faith in the direction that we are going? And so the question becomes, wait a second, how do I have faith in the direction that I'm leading people if I haven't analyzed 100% of the data? And this leads us to another very important mindset for leaders. Like I said, your job is not to get 100% of the decisions 100% correct. It is to keep the team motivated, moving. And if you do make a wrong decision, it is to recognize that and move in a different direction, right? With momentum, you can go zigzag back and forth, find your way to the goal. But I will tell you, in my business, the times where we've been the most stuck, the most stagnant, and haven't done anything are the worst times for growth. Sometimes you just need to make a call and do it. And this is the thing that we're going to practice today in the action guide, is being decisive. There is, of course, a Goldilocks area of taking in enough information. Sometimes you need to slow down. For those of you who are just shooting from the hip all the time, you do need to do some analysis. But it's in finding that happy medium of, okay, we've got enough data here. This decision is medium important, so we're going to have to make this decision pretty soon. So we're going to do one more analysis and then we're going to go. Or this is a huge decision, so we're going to do still quite a bit of analysis and then we're going to go. There's an old story that Tony Robbins tells about General Schwarzkopf that I think is very important here. The army at this point in time was stuck between two very high levels approaches to the world. Let's call them A and B. And for 2.5 years, they've been debating which direction they would go. And they had 3,000 pages on other sides of pros and cons and the casualties that would be on either side. I mean, this was a heavy, heavy decision. And so all of these heads, I believe the joint staffs of something or other, got together in the Pentagon one day to brief General Schwarzkopf on what they were going to do. And so they came in and they each had an opening summary, 15 minutes of what their high-level position that they were going to be presenting over the next 3 days would be. They came in, side A gave their 15 minutes, side B gave their 15 minutes. General Schwarzkopf said, excellent, we're going with B. And everybody kind of looked at him and was like, what the heck is going on? And we've been working on this for 3 years. Okay, they got out of the room and they started to move in direction B. Now, General Schwarzkopf's assistant was sitting there going, oh my God, what are we doing? He just made this insane decision with not enough data. The lives are on the line. What are we going to do here? And he said, General, permission to speak freely. And he said, permission granted. He said, General, how could you possibly make this decision? You don't have nearly enough information. People have worked their whole careers to try to understand this, and they can't even understand it. How could you go? And he said, exactly. People have worked their whole careers to figure this out. There is no easy answer. These are very, very tough decisions, but not making a decision is worse than either of these. So we're going with that decision, and if it doesn't work, we're going to go down that line as far as it goes until it doesn't work, and then we'll turn a different direction. But we need to move because people are still dying the way that things are. And he said, okay, fine, but how do we make the decision between A and B? And he says, do what is right. And then that's it. Now, that heuristic might seem very, very loose and high level, but at some point deep in our hearts, there's oftentimes we know what is right in a situation, and we try to muddy the waters thinking about, okay, well, this is going to be more expedient, this is going to be more convenient. If you make a heuristic in your life, check my gut when I'm stuck and do what feels right. That actually will guide you in the correct direction far more often than you realize. So what I want to cover now are a couple more heuristics that are going to be helpful in making these high-level decisions.